Happy Habit Workshop Wednesday. So this is your first Wednesday in the program, but every Wednesday of each week, you'll receive a video like this to help you workshop a new habit. So over the course of these 8 weeks, absolutely we want you to have some new healthy habits that help you reach your goals, but we also want to make them last far beyond just this program. I fully believe that you need to be in charge of the changes you make in order to make them stick. So if you hear things in these videos that resonate with you, great, try to put them into your daily routines. And if not, just leave it, that's totally fine. Today, what I want to talk about is your environment. So usually if we're trying to start a new habit, our environment is a big indicator of whether we do it or not. See if you can relate to any of these examples. You want to get up earlier, but instead you continue to hit snooze on your alarm or phone that's right next to the bed. Or maybe you want to eat more vegetables, but they all go bad because you keep them in the crisper drawer in the refrigerator. Maybe you're at work and there's a candy dish on the front desk that you take a piece every time you walk by. Maybe you want to take more vitamins, but you constantly forget because they're in a cabinet and you can't actually see them. Perhaps there's a drive-through that you can't seem to stop yourself from going through on the way home from work, even though every day you tell yourself you won't. Maybe you relate to these, maybe you don't. But you can probably see where I'm going with this. If you see something or don't see something, that can be the make or break if your new habit sticks. If our environment isn't cueing us to do the habits we want or stop doing the habits we don't want to do, it's going to be really difficult to make that change because the current habits we have, they're already locked into our brain and locked into our routine. So changing them is going to be the hardest part. Once it's part of your life, maintaining it should be pretty easy. Can you think of anything that's in your environment that you know needs to be changed? So going back to those last examples, maybe you need to put your alarm or your phone on the other side of the room. That way you have to physically get out of bed to turn it off, and you'll be all the more likely to stay up and get your day going earlier. Maybe you need to keep fruit on the counter or somewhere more visible in the fridge so that you are drawn to those things rather than having them somewhere out of sight. Personally, my veggie crisper drawer is filled with beer cans. So they're not something, although I would often love a beer at the end of every day, it's not something I can actually see, so I don't go towards it. And then the doors of my fridge are actually filled with our produce. So it cues me to make a second vegetable with dinner or grab an apple as a snack instead of something else that may be in there. If you're struggling to take your vitamins, maybe instead of keeping them in the medicine cabinet or a cupboard, put them right next to your toothbrush. If there's a drive-through or somewhere on the way home or to work or school that you constantly stop in, maybe you need to change your route so you don't actually see it. Find a route that puts the gym on your way home and it cues you to go there. So hopefully you get the gist of adjusting your environment. If you have questions, let me know. If you decide to work on something and implement or change your environment, I'd love to know what you're working on. In the attachment, you will find a little homework assignment to help you with your environment when it comes to nutrition, and it's the kitchen assessment. Now, I really don't like to categorize foods as good or bad. There is a time and place for everything. I'm a big cookie person, so I don't think of cookies as bad, but I also don't think of them as something I should have every day. But there is a place in my life for them, and I will never fully get rid of them. So with that being said, we do need to be mindful of the foods we have in our kitchen. And although none are bad, none are good, there are foods that get us a step closer to our goals and some that do not. There are foods that we have self-control around and others we don't. So we really need to make sure that the foods that are getting us closer to our goals are in our homes and the foods that are not stay out. And I know that's easier said than done when it comes to kids or a partner who has different goals than you. But you need to make sure that your environment is primed for you and your goals. If there's a food in your house or if you buy something at the grocery store that ends up in your home, you, somebody you love, or someone you tolerate enough to let them in your house is going to eat it. And if it's a food that's not great for you, it's probably not great for anyone. So really be mindful of what you have and what you need to keep out of the house, Be mindful of what you have visible and things you can keep in the house, but maybe not have them in the front of the fridge or on the counter. Set up your kitchen and set up your home to help you add these habits in and keep with them for the long term. If you have questions or want to let me know what you're working on, I'd love to hear it, and send them my way, and I will talk to you soon.